Our last session, we'd been working together for 8 months. I pulled up her original goals and asked, walk me through where you are with each of these. What followed was one of the most powerful conversations of our entire engagement, not because of what I did as a coach, but because we had structured that final session to hold something meaningful. The final session isn't just another coaching conversation. It's a different kind of conversation altogether. And how you structure it matters enormously. So what makes this session different from all the others? Think about every session you've had with a client. They come in with something to explore. You follow their agenda. You ask questions, evoke awareness, support their thinking. The final session has a different purpose entirely. The focus shifts from exploration to reflection, from discovery to meaning making. And here's something coaches often underestimate: how you close shapes how they remember the entire engagement. A rushed or awkward ending can diminish months of powerful work. An intentional close can crystallize transformation. ICF captures this in marker 3.11. Partners with the client to close the coaching relationship in a way that respects the client and the coaching experience. That word respects is doing a lot of work here. It's not just about being polite or wrapping things up neatly. It's about honoring what you've accomplished together, the client's journey, the struggles they faced, the growth they achieved, the relationship you built. All of it deserves to be acknowledged and honored, not just ended. Let me give you a framework that works. I structure every final session around 3 parts: review, reflect, and plan. Review is where you walk through the goals you set together. What did they accomplish? What's still open? Where did they surprise themselves? Reflect is where you explore the deeper learning, not just what they did, but who they became along the way. And plan, that's where you help them design how they'll continue growing after coaching ends. These 3 elements together create a comprehensive closing experience. Skip any one of them and something important gets lost. Let's start with the review piece. In my last session, I walked through the goals that the client and I set in the beginning, or maybe that we adjusted and set somewhere in the middle. And the client just talks a bit about, this is where I am. This is the progress I've made. I pull up those original goals, literally have them in front of me. And I invite them to reflect on each one. What got accomplished? What's still in progress? What shifted along the way? The key here is to let them lead. You're not delivering a performance review. You're creating space for them to see their own journey clearly. Here's something critical to remember. This is still a coaching conversation. I, of course, ask questions because this is still coaching about what did they not get done? What are the things that are still open? And we talk about, well, how are you going to continue to make progress towards that goal now that the coaching engagement is over? Don't just deliver a summary. Don't just check boxes. Stay in coaching mode. Ask questions that help them integrate their learning. What remains unfinished isn't failure. It's simply what's next for them. And your job is to help them see that clearly and plan for it. Now, sometimes something interesting happens. Some clients say, well, actually, I don't want coaching to end and I would like to just continue. And that's fine. You are more than able to recontract with your client. But here's what I recommend. Don't just simply continue. Close this engagement first. Honor the time box you created together. Acknowledge everything that happened within it. Then open a new time box, a fresh agreement, new goals if needed. This matters because closure has its own power. Skipping it means losing something important, even when the relationship continues. So here's what I want you to remember. The final session is intentional, not incidental. It requires thoughtful structure and planning. Review, reflect, plan, walk through the goals, explore the learning, design what's next, and stay in coaching mode throughout. This isn't a performance review. It's a powerful coaching conversation. But beyond the practical elements of the final session, there's something else, something that goes deeper than reviewing goals and making plans. It's about honoring what you've shared together. That's what we'll explore next.